Computer-based testing is mostly used for summative assessment purposes. However, it can be used as a formative assessment tool to gauge the learning and understanding of students. The driving force behind formative computer-based testing is instant feedback. This feedback is intended to help students make progress with the activities they have undertaken during the program of study. These formative computer-based assessments occur on a regular basis, usually after the completion of a topic or cluster of related topics. Students can be awarded marks in these assessments, but the marks are only indicative and not counted towards the final mark of the module. Items used in computer-based testing can levy authentic measurement of understanding and learning. When it comes to computer-based formative assessments, speed and timing of feedback is of topmost importance. When immediate feedback is provided, students can experience higher learning outcomes. Thus, the gaps in a student's knowledge closes. Moreover, feedback is tailored to each student depending on their response to each item. Studies have indicated that feedback provided via computers as opposed to humans have a greater positive effect on student learning. Computer-based testing works best in large institutions or with courses which typically have large amounts of students each semester, such as a Psychology 101 introductory course. It also works well for students engaging in distant learning. Computer-based assessments provide both the student and educator with the quickest and most accurate level of student learning and comprehension. Overall, computer-based assessments are great for higher education. Now, computer-based testing is sounding like a rock star, but let us not get too excited. With any form of assessment, there are always drawbacks. One such drawback is the initial setup and development costs. This cost can transfer to the students in the form of fees or other related course costs. A second drawback is the time spent to master the software and other computing skills, not to mention the time it takes to create the item list. 3 is that computer-based testing is not appropriate for longer and more complex questions, which often test higher order critical thinking. A fourth drawback is that some students may have computer anxiety. Although this may be a small segment of the student population, it should still be taken into consideration. A fifth drawback is resource constraints. There just might be too many students to the amount of computers in the computer lab. A sixth and final constraint or drawback to computer-based testing is that it is reliant on the power supply and internet availability. And as we know, technology is known to fail us, and sometimes at the most inopportune time. Now, for the good stuff. Although we have gone through the setbacks to using computer-based testing, we will see why we should not shy away from using such a powerful tool. The first advantage to using computer-based testing is that it saves time for educators, as the feedback are mostly standard and can be edited and saved for repeated use. A second advantage is that computer-based testing is readily accessible and easy to retrieve by students. A third advantage is that feedback and results can be made available to students immediately, either after each submitted answer or following the completion of the test at large. A fourth advantage is that the details provided is easier to read compared to handwritten feedback. A fifth advantage is that it is paperless and reduces the requirements for storage capacity. A sixth advantage is that privacy protection for students can be enhanced by using passwords or other computer security controls. Some systems allow feedback to be integrated into grading rubrics, providing more objective and consistent feedback, which can be great for some students. Also, an invigilator can randomly shuffle questions and answer choices, which reduces collusion or plagiarism. A A final advantage is that it's easy to analyze students' performance and gauge the complexity of individual questions. One of the best practices to computer-based testing is training of school personnel and students. Individuals administering the computer-based tests need to have a comfort level with using technology. In addition, individuals administering the computer-based tests must receive training utilizing the actual system. When it comes to students should be provided awareness training on the computer-based testing system. Students should be able to build up their comfort level with using the technology, and they should be able to have practice sessions using the computer-based testing system. Another best practice is the environment and how it is situated. Computers should be arranged so that a student can only see his or her own monitor. The seating area should be free of electrical wiring and internet cables. There should be adequate space between each student, and the lighting should be adequate for all students. When utilizing a formative computer-based testing strategy, I would allow feedback to appear after each test item is submitted. If a student answers a question incorrectly, the correct answer will appear and a summary of the topic will follow. This will help close gaps in the student's learning and help guide the student as to where their strengths and weaknesses are. When a student answers a question correctly, a summary of the topic will still be provided. This is to help reinforce what the student already knows and may provide additional information that may have been missed in the topic area.